Hi guys, welcome back to Hair Dry Treatment with me, Soph. I'm joined by Meg again for the Soph and Meg show. You missed us last week, but we're back with a bang. Meg, how are you doing?
Hi everyone, I am absolutely full of cold, so if I sound horrific, I apologise, because I'm dying a death over here, I tell you. But all good, I'm back with a bit of a buzz, although I have, and we will talk about it, I have got to eat my words a little bit on this video, because I will go into it in much more detail. But I said something in the video a couple of weeks back, and I was wrong. Now I hold my hands up, I was wrong, and I will eat my own words for it. But we'll talk about it. But other than that, I'm all good. Do you not feel like there's a bit of a buzz about Manchester United still? I'm getting a bit of a buzz.
I do. I think there's a bit of positivity creeping back in. Obviously, we've had a run of a few good results. Yes, we played Derby last night, but it was a professional performance. I thought, all in all, we did our jobs, and obviously entering this weekend a massive game, another one where we can test ourselves and see if we are actually making progress, because we all know what United are like. Sometimes it feels like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, or whatever it is. We seem like we're getting into a rhythm and then we just crash again. And I'm hoping that we are making progress. But again, this weekend I think is a massive one. I'm intrigued though, Meg, to see where you've got to eat your words, trying to work it out. But yesterday's performance overall, what was your opinion on it? Were you happy?
Yeah, I mean, you took the words out of my mouth a little bit, because it was just professional, wasn't it? We got the job done. 3-0. I mean, another clean sheet. We're getting better at that. We are really getting better at that. I think you can score as many goals as you want, but if you can't defend, then you'll always lose, or you'll never win the game. So for me, yeah, I think it's a dead professional performance. 3-0. I think Luke Shaw played really well. We got man of the match as well. He's keeping Brandon Williams back out the team. So what do you do there? What's going to happen with that? But it's great for competition again, finding form. Minutes under the belt for people, and do you know what? We're through to another round. Like, okay, we've come out the Carabao Cup at Carabao Cup. When did we come out? Semi-finals, wasn't it? A couple of months ago. It's last month. No, semi-final. We're through to the quarter-finals of this. We've got a great tie, Norwich. I'll take that. If you're looking at the rest of the teams that are left in, you'd probably pick them. I think, anyway. I think Manchester have got a great tie. But yeah, I think it was a professional performance. Got the job done. 3-0. Great. Move on.
I agree. I think it's so good to see Igalo again on the score sheet. He needs to have a few stabs at it, doesn't he? But he does to get the goal eventually. And I think Igalo, everyone's a lovely guy. It's just positivity. You can just tell he's just a nice guy. It's a dream to be at United, and he's making the most of it. And I was buzzing that he scored again yesterday. A lot of people already talking about Lingard. Obviously, the title of the video is about Lingard, because after the game yesterday, there was obviously a lot of angry, hostile fans towards Jesse Lingard, shouting all types of abuse at him, saying stuff like, you haven't had any assists, any goals. So, do you think, because the facts at the end of the day, what they were shouting, some of them, about the statistics, and obviously he's had a lot of flack. But Meg, do you think it's right to put it across the way that those fans did? I know I've heard there's some racism in there as well. For me, you can criticise players. As fans, of course, you have a right to do that. But I think hurling abuse in the way that it was done so aggressively as well, I think it's just horrible to see.
John, fair play to Lingard for not turning around. You've seen it with Dyer this week, gone into the stand. And I don't condemn what Dyer did, going into the stand and confronting a fan, but you can understand why. If somebody was giving me grief like Lingard got last night, I know I'd turn around and say, and confront the fan. Let's face it, I would, a lot of people would. He kept his calm, he got his head down, he walked straight onto the coach. And I think it's absolutely disgusting. I believe there was racial slurs in there. I've seen things online that said apparent racial slurs. I think it's pretty obvious that what word was used. And I just think it's downright out of order. Like I said, you can criticise a player. Every right to. We all know the stat. He didn't score in 2019, didn't assist in 2019. But he worked hard. At the end of the day, Lingard, come the end of the season, could be a crucial player for us. If we're in, if we go through round after round of Europa League, we're still in top 4 contention. We've still got the FA Cup. We need players like that, hurling abuse and lacking confidence. And range of different players will not help us. What I will say though is one fan doesn't define the whole fan base, and I've seen loads of fans from other clubs saying, "Oh, United fans are the most embarrassing fans in the world." No, I think 99% of us agree that one fan isn't or doesn't speak for the whole fan base. We've all criticised Lingard. Like I said, the stats are there, but the way that it was portrayed last night and the way that it was gone about, including the racial slurs, bang out of order.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like we've both said, as fans, of course you criticise players, and Lingard, rightly so, has been criticised recently. But to hurl abuse, racism, or any abuse aggressively like that in that player, well, it's just downright bullying, isn't it? And it's not on, regardless of who the player is. I just think, like you say, it's disgusting, really. And it's not welcome at all at United or in football at all. Next one I wanted to talk about as well was obviously Bruno Fernandes again played against Derby. Anything positive seems to come through Bruno right now. I don't know if you feel the same, Meg, but everything positive seems to come through Bruno. He's constantly moving. And you said there's a bit of a buzz around Manchester United now. Is that down to this new signing?
Definitely. He's got that spark. At the very start of the season we spoke about players who get you up off your feet. He's one of them. You can see that players trust him. You can see that players are trying to get the ball to him. You can just the creativity and the intelligence of his play. He can pick a pass out regardless of where you're on the pitch. He can see the run. He can third man run. He drives at players. He creates an opening of play, a foot going forward. He brings that buzz. He's obviously a fan favourite. I mean, everyone is buzzing about him at the moment. But he's a player that we all wanted, and he's delivered to the expectation that we had of him. Yeah. Everyone was like, "Oh, he'll put it in the Premier League," and he is doing that. He's delivered what we all expected, which I think, well, thankfully, that he is doing.
Yeah, definitely. He's hit the ground running, and we all said obviously we're giving the benefit of the doubt, it might take him time, but it's literally hit the ground running, and it's been a breath of fresh air to see it. United, he really has. Jim has made an interesting point regarding the Lingard abuse. He says, "Sorry, football is a results game. He's been playing bad for 18 months. Facts and no goals or assists, not good enough. Private life is simply that private. His job is to play well. Sorry." Meg, do you want to respond to Jim then? I mean, I get what you're saying, it is his job to play well. Of course it is, and he's not been performing. It's come to light recently, he's had a lot of stuff going on in the background to do with his mum and his family as well. At the end of the day, footballers are still human beings, and I think if you're hurling abuse like that, you're not treating him like a human being. So in my opinion, it's still disgusting. I completely get what you're saying, Jim, about it being his job, and of course he has not been good enough, I get that. But at the same time, he has had stuff going on in the background. Do you have a bit of sympathy for him because of that, or do you just disregard it?
It's hard to mix. Regardless of whatever job you're in, if you've got something going on in your personal life, it will probably affect you. We've said, look, we've all criticised him. We've all probably got a right to criticise, or at least speak about his performance, whether it's good or it's bad. We have done that. We've commented when it's been bad. We've all said, look, he's not on fire at the moment. He's not found form at the moment. And yeah, Jim's right. Football is a result-based game, but you can't abuse a player. You can comment on someone's performance, but you don't abuse a player. There is a way that you do it. You don't stand there and absolutely. If I walk down the street and somebody thinks I've done a bad job at work, and someone starts hurling abuse at me, that's out of order. You don't do that. You don't see it across any other profession. So why do we feel it's acceptable to personally attack footballers? Just because they are in the public eye does not mean we should be able to personally abuse them and hurl abuse at them.
Yeah, I agree. At the end of the day, they're still human beings, aren't they? And you still have to respect that. Like you said, you've got their own private lives, they've got their own stuff going on in the background. But it is frustrating because, of course, you think about the sheer amount of money that footballers are on. The likes of Jesse Lingard, and as a fan, it is frustrating. And I completely agree with that side of it as well. Sophie would have never signed Bruno if Pogba and McTominay were not injured for long. We signed players linked with us one summer later. Herrera, Maguire, now Bruno, but injuries changed it. A lot of people are saying that. Meg, why do you think that we held back in the summer? Because obviously there were massive links to Bruno, and we waited and we waited. Do you think it's a case of you panicked because of the injuries and thought we've got to get him, or do you think it's a decision that the managers chose? What's your opinion on that?
I think it played a part in it. I think our hand got forced. We had to spend the money that clearly we didn't want to go and spend. We tried to bring the price down. It didn't work. We've had injuries. We've had to spend that money. So I think it factors into our decision. But I don't think it was down to that. I think we all knew we wanted him. We've been tracking him. We've all said over the summer that we wanted him. It never happened. It's just a long, drawn-out process, isn't it? So for me, it played a part, but it's not perhaps the be-all and end-all. The injuries just forced our hand a little bit in terms of we're going to have to just pay the money. There's no time to negotiate another price now.
Yeah, and I think it comes from the stick that people give towards obviously Ed Woodward, saying that again he should have done the deal earlier. He's trying to penny pinch, and now his hand's been forced, like you say. And I think that was kind of the situation. I agree with that. I think that maybe the injuries obviously affected his deal, but what a deal it was, and it turned out for the better, definitely. And I'm looking forward to seeing many years of Bruno in a United shirt. I think he is so crucial to us already, and I just look forward to seeing how he's going to develop at United. I've just put a little question in the chat, Meg. Who is your player of the year so far? Now, obviously, we've got the new signings who came in, but also there's a few players who've impressed. Rashford, for example, injured at the moment. Right now, at this moment in time, who would you choose for your player of the year? Put you on the spot here.
Yeah, because it's really tricky. Like Paul's just said, player of the year, McTominay. You've got to remember the time. I think it's very easy to forget the time. The first part of the season before Christmas, because we're talking about now and like the run that we've been on, we forget that McTominay's been injured, but he's come back. Like the form that he had before he was injured. Look at Rashford, the form that he was in before he was injured. I've always spoke highly of Wan-Bissaka. I don't think he's player of the year, but I do believe that he's been a crucial part of our season. Jim's just put Greenwood again. I don't think he perhaps is the player of the year, but I think he would be up there. So
young player of the year,
maybe. Going on right now, and we forget the rest of the season, I would go for Fred purely because he's probably been the most consistent for the longest period of time, closely followed by McTominay or Rashford. We don't know. However, if Bruno continues the way that he's doing, then I would predict that it would probably be Bruno by the end of the season.
Yeah, I think if Bruno came in the summer and performed like he has done so far, then yeah, I think Bruno would literally run away with it. But I agree, I think Fred is the guy that I would give it to. I think he's been our most consistent player. I think he's stepped up in big games and he's overcoming those critics, because a lot of people were judging him because of the price, saying he wasn't good enough, and I think he's really starting to respond now. Alex, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, "Hi ladies, great to hear from you both again. Do we really have the squad depth to aim for top 4, as well as success in the FA Cup and the Europa League?" Meg, do you think that realistically we can still go for all 3? I answered a question similar to this when I was on MUTV the other week, so I'll let you go first. Should we still be going for every competition?
Yeah, we're in them. Why aren't we going for them? I know people say obviously prioritise, but let's face it, you win the FA Cup, you get a chance at Europe. Top 4, you get into Champions League, and if you win the Europa Cup, you get into the Champions League. So we can't afford not to try on all 3 levels, because you need to be able to fight across the board. You need to be able to rotate your players. And we have to talk about the squad depth, we talk about injuries, but these people, the players should be able to be rotated. And if you play 2 out of 3 games in a week, then you should be up to scratch for that. You should be at fitness level. You should be able to do that. I know we've got to integrate players that come back from injury. So, McTominay might not be playing 90 minutes, but if you get 70 minutes out of him in one game and then 20 minutes out of him in the sub in another game, then that's fair enough. But my belief is you should be fighting across all 3 levels right now, all the competitions that we're in.
Yeah, I agree. If you're in the competition, you go for it. I think obviously getting into the Champions League is a priority, and we obviously, with the whole City news, we didn't think we'd have a chance really of getting top 4. We've hit a bit of form. Everyone seems to be bottling it. But I think because of the nature of the fact that we keep bottling it, we get within touching distance and we drop points all the time. we can't be reliant on, for example, just playing for the league because we can't trust ourselves to get a result in them games. So yeah, I think we've got to rotate players, and I agree. Yeah, our squad is very weak, but look at Wolves. Look how Wolves' squad is a lot smaller than ours. Look how they're performing for Nuno. They're literally flying in all competitions that they're still in now, Europa and obviously in the league. We should be going for it as well. I don't think there's any excuses. Of course, injuries affect us, but again, that's come from a long history of poor recruitment. We haven't got squad depth, and that's something that Ollie, I'm hoping, is trying to instill. Nippon Sharma, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. He said, sentiment aside, do you think Liverpool can make a comeback at Anfield against Atletico? Yes, and I think they will. Is my opinion. I think Liverpool need to bounce back. Obviously, they've been a bit of a wobble of late. Everyone's saying it's crumbling. We all know for a fact it's not crumbling. But I think because it's at Anfield, I genuinely think they're going to turn it around. There's something about that place, especially after what happened last season. I think there's that belief there that they're going to do it. They're going to turn it over, and I can see that happening. Of course, I'm praying that I'm completely wrong, and I hit my words. I'm praying that Atletico get that win, but I just think Liverpool are going to do it again. Meg, what do you think?
You know, you hear of players talk about European nights at Anfield and the buzz that's in that stadium. I believe they could do it, but that Atletico side, I feel like Diego Simeone has got them set up. They are a really tough side to beat, but I think they have a 12th man at home, and I think Liverpool will have a 12th man when they're at Anfield. So it'll be a really close game. I think it'll be a really close game. I can see it going either way. I'd obviously like to see Atletico win, obviously. So I'd love to have a bit of a laugh at Liverpool, but I can see Liverpool beating them as well. There's no doubt they are a class side. And like I said, those European nights at Anfield, there's something about them. Everyone says it. But,
Yeah.
I would like to see Atletico go through.
Yeah, these made a good point. If Atletico score first, could be different. I agree. I think if they do, Liverpool though, let's not forget that last few games they've looked shaky. There's been a few results where they've grinded them out, where a bit of magic from Mane, for example, or a VAR decision. Or we know how it is. Something has happened, and they've got the 3 points. They've grinded it out, and everyone says that's the sign of the champion team. That's the sign of quality players that they keep going and get the goal eventually. But they haven't been playing that well, and they've been conceding goals. So if Atletico do get their game plan right, and like you say, if they can nick the first goal, it could be very interesting. Because Liverpool, they are absolutely quality, yes, but the last few games have been a bit dodgy.
I'm just going to go back to a comment safe that I've just seen.
Go for it.
Jack Ramsey put, I've seen a clip of Lingard being abused, and there are people calling them plastic, but does it not show passion as well? Jack, if you are racially abusing somebody, do not call it passion. It is downright out of order. Do not hide behind the word passion. You cannot racially abuse somebody and call it passion. I would call it scum of the earth if you're racially abusing somebody. So please don't hide behind the fact that it's passion. If you want to talk about the abuse in terms of you didn't score in 2019, you didn't assist in 2019, you're shit, blah, 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 blah. If you hurl abuse at somebody like that in the street, you'd probably get punched in the face, let's face it, if you're going to do that to somebody. So yeah, but I just wanted to make that comment. Okay, I mean the bus, that's fair enough. I feel so strongly on the racist abuse that it's literally just vile. I don't understand why you would comment on somebody's colour of skin. But yeah, like I just wouldn't abuse somebody. I would, like, if I was a fan and I was upset at someone's performance, I wouldn't stand there and shout at them. Like, and okay, might shout and stand there, oh, you might be like hands in the air, but you wouldn't abuse a player. There's a difference, I think. You can critique their performance, but you wouldn't abuse a player.
Yeah, I agree. Jack, good to have you back. We haven't been around for a while. Jack is a Palace fan, which is why we've had a question from him about Zaha as well. Let me just scroll back to it. So, would we take Zaha? People saying about 80 million. Apparently, is the price people are asking for Zaha. This is Soph and Meg. Would you take Zaha? I've seen 80 million being spoken about. He's not worth that, especially this season. Personally, I think his time is done at United. I was sad I think we let him go way too early. But I don't think we should bring him back now. I think it's too late for us to bring him back. But I was very sad. I think he could have turned out to be an exceptional player for us if we'd have given him a chance. And I don't think he was given a fair chance.
Agree with you. I think we sold him perhaps at the wrong time. but the form that he's on now is nowhere near the 80 million mark. If you look at, we paid less for Bruno Fernandes, and he's levels above him, I believe. So I think Zaha would be like he's down on the list. If we got him, I think we have not got our first, second, third, fourth target. You know, I just don't believe he would be coming to Manchester United.
Yeah, I think when he's moved, didn't it turn out, was it to Arsenal where he was apparently really close to joining them, and then obviously didn't go. And all summer it was like Zaha's leaving. Didn't end up getting his big move, and I think since that he hasn't been the same player he was. And whether that's because he's dropping a bit because he wants out, I'm not sure. He likes being the big fish in the pond, doesn't he? He likes being the main guy, which is why another reason I don't think bringing him back to United there would be the right thing. Obviously, Sancho is most likely the guy that we get instead of Zaha. That kind of mould of player. Sancho, for me, I've already said, I'm hoping he's not an overhyped English player, but he is some baller. Meg, do you truly believe that he could end up at Old Trafford, though?
Yes, but I don't want to see the drawn-out process that we had with Bruno. I'm not here for it. You want a player, and you want them that badly, make a point that you want them that badly. Okay, you know, there is a massive price tag that goes alongside him, but that's today's game, isn't it? We're at that point now where we're paying stupid money for players. It's just the way that it is. But I don't want to be seeing this like drawn out process of 3 transfer windows and then he comes. Like, if you want him, go and get him. Go and pay the money for him. If it's worth it, if you think he's worth it, then do it. Like, we missed out on Haaland because we didn't want to pay the money for him. Look at him now, absolutely balling.
He's crap. Didn't want him anyway. I'm joking. Matt's asked if we're going to another women's game. I've said we will be going. Matt, definitely, yes. Don't know which one yet, but we'll be there. Sam says, dear Sophie, Ed Woodward should sign Thomas Partey from Atletico. Yes, he is an absolute baller, and I think it looks more and more likely, obviously, that Pogba is leaving. Partey, I think, would be a superb replacement for him. For his quality against Liverpool in the last game, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him again in the next leg. But yeah, he's definitely the type of mould of player I'll be looking at for that central area. I think he is quality. I think we are in for Jude Bellingham as well. Obviously, we were linked to him recently, and I have actually watched a few Birmingham games after that to try and do a bit of scouting and such, try and see how good he is. And you know what? It does look like a real talent, Jude Bellingham. He really does. Have you seen much of him, Meg?
No, to be honest, I'm not seeing much of him, but I will take your word for it because we're pretty good at calling out players. So
yeah, he looks talented. He does.
I think we need another central midfielder, especially if Pogba goes. We need to make sure that we've got someone in mind. We've seen that whole Lukaku leaving last season, not having a replacement. So if Pogba goes, we need to have somebody ready. I don't want to see Pogba go and us not being able to bring anybody else in.
We have got Andreas Pereira though. Just saying. Doug is in the chat. Hi Sophie, hi Meg. Hi Doug, hope you're good. Signing Haaland was never possible as his agent Raiola, who has an agenda against our club. We all hate Raiola, we all know that. Did you both watch USA versus England last night as our ladies team gone backwards since the World Cup? I didn't watch it because I was at work early in the morning, I'll be honest. But yes, I do think we've gone backwards, and I think there's a lot of pressure on Phil Neville's shoulders, I really do. Meg, what's your view on that? Did you watch the game last night?
Do you know what? Because of this cold, I got up at something like 20 to 1 this morning. And I was like absolutely dying. I looked at my phone and I got a notification about the football, and I was like, oh, the football's on, so I ended up going downstairs and watching the second half. I don't know, I just thought we looked like we have gone backwards.
Yep.
We just looked sloppy, like we were second to the ball. We weren't sharp enough. We were missing creativity. Jordan, obviously, probably one of the first players on the pitch, on the team sheet. She wouldn't start. She came on. But if you look at the second goal, our defence was just wayward. We didn't know what we were doing. We both stepped out. One person stepped back. So yeah, for me, if you did watch it last night, I wouldn't say it was a true reflection of where England women are at. But I think it wasn't a great game for us. But if you do watch it, we're back on Sunday after the United game. So if you are watching and you've not watched England before, then we're Sunday evening we've got Japan on BBC Two.
There you go, making commission off BBC. Yeah. Yeah, I think I do genuinely believe they've gone backwards. I think obviously we've got some super talented players now for the Lionesses. And I think it's just trying to get the right system to fit all the main players in. Really, I think we haven't found that system yet. And I think that's obviously what Phil is trying to do. But I'll definitely be watching it on Sunday after the United game. I have got a game myself, so I'll probably miss the United game, to be fair. Yeah, I'm a bit gutted about that. Actually.
So let me tell you why I need to eat my words. I need to get it off my chest.
Do it. Confession time.
I need to say it with my whole chest. I got it wrong about Igalo. I got it wrong. We sat here the day of the transfer deadline window, I think it was.
Yeah, we discussed Igalo.
And I said that you asked me about out of 10, what did I think the transfer window was? How do you think we did? I can't remember the exact number I said, but I said, if we brought in Igalo, it wouldn't change. It changed. That man has put effort in. He has worked hard. We can see it. So I apologise, Odin Igalo. If you ever watch this, I apologise. You worked hard. I'm not saying you've set the world alight, but he's worked hard. He's creating chances. He's in the right place. His movement for a centre half.
Centre half.
Centre forward. And who knows? He might be a centre half by then.
Maybe.
So his movement as the out and out striker is something that we've lacked.
His link-up play as well.
I apologise because he's banged in a few goals. Three goals in 2 starts. So yeah, I got it wrong.
Yay! No, I love him. I actually love him. I think he loves the club. Just so happy to wear United shirt. He's a goal scorer. He's a link-up player as well, though. I think every time the ball comes to him, it sticks. He's got a quality link-up play. Great bit of competition as well for Martial because, as you say, he scored 3 and 2. And yeah, I just think, you know what? People wrote him off before he even had a touch of the ball, which I thought was harsh. He's obviously worked hard, and now he's obviously reaping the rewards for it. And yeah, I want him to keep scoring. I want him to make the most of his time at United because I love the guy, and like I say, he absolutely loves playing for Manchester United. So fair play to him. I'm glad Meg he's made you eat your words.
Yeah. Made me eat my words, but like you said, I'm so happy for him that you've seen him when he first arrived that he went into the gym straight away. He's a big man. Like he's not small. He's got stature about him. And I just think, whilst he's here, he's worked hard. You can't complain about that, can you?
No.
You can't complain about a player that he's giving 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And it's his loyal club, so he absolutely idolises the club. He loves it. So yeah. But massive game this weekend, City. I hate it when we're playing City because City again. I thought they were quality against Real Madrid the other night. City are just one of them teams, aren't they? Obviously, Liverpool are going to win the league. City, the only team who could even come close, realistically. They've got this whole ban over their head, so I just think that obviously this is a massive game for them. And I fear the worst. But I'm hoping that we can keep up with the positive results. Of course, I always say I never want to bet against my team. But I'll let Meg, as always, start because I kept used to jump in front of something that you say. But what's your prediction? Can we get that win against City?
So, we've never done the double over City. Well, we have, obviously, but we've not done the double over City for a good few years. And we're in a place where I believe we're going into it in form, confidence as well. And I've listened to radio saying, Pep literally is talking like he's not bothered about the league anymore because Liverpool are so far ahead. He wants to concentrate on the FA Cup. He wants to concentrate on the Champions League. So for him, the Premier League, it's a possibility that they can still win the league. Yes. Are they going to do it? No. So if he was going to rest players in games, he's probably now going to start choosing to rest players in a Premier League game. He's not probably as bothered. I would. Oh, it's hard. I will predict a No, I think it'd be really close. Do I go safe in a draw?
You for a draw?
I don't want United to lose, but I do feel it would just be a really close game with, the likes of City. They've got a class team, but you can't deny this whole buzz and this whole confidence about Manchester United at the moment. And sometimes you just get games where just because you're not the best team, best 11 on paper doesn't mean you're going to lose. So let's go for it. I'm going to go for Man United 2-0.
Yeah, positive. So I make them for United 2-0. I've got a bit of pressure on my shoulders because I called obviously the header from Maguire, so people are calling me Mystic Sophrichox. Yeah. City's defence is not the best, so I'm going to predict that Igalo is going to score a header. Yeah, he's quite physical, Igalo. As you said, he's quite a big lad, and I think, he can cause them trouble. So, I don't know if he'll start Igalo, I think he'll come on, but I can see him getting a header definitely against City. Bruno Fernandes, I think the game hinges on whether he's going to be involved or not. I think if we're going to cause City problems, it's going to come from him getting in the gaps, causing trouble centrally. So, like I've already mentioned, anything positive seems to come from Bruno Fernandes. If City mark Bruno out of the game, they'll struggle to break them down. But obviously City will like a lot of the ball as well, which could also play into our hands because there will be gaps there. So it is an awkward one. Like you, I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go for a 2-1 United win. I think we're just going to nick it. Imagine the scenes if Igalo comes on and scores a header as the winner. I would just lose my mind. Absolutely lose my mind. That scene's right there. So that's what I'm predicting. Igalo to come on to score a header. United to win 2-1. God, I didn't think I would say that. Naeem agrees with me, says Igalo will score again. We really need Maguire and AWB fit and available. Our defence will be a lot stronger with them. We're talking about obviously defences. We have played 5 at the back where Luke Shaw's been on the left of a back 3, and we have managed to fit in Brandon Williams. We've got them both in. Luke Shaw has been flying of late. I thought he played quality again yesterday. He looked really positive. Do you think it's a system that's suiting him, and is he finally coming out of his shell because he's been playing well? He's obviously hit a bit of form. Do you think it's true that Ollie has had a chat with him? Apparently he did say when he first took over at United he's going to get the best out of Luke Shaw. Or do you think it's a combination of both? Is it coaching, but is it also Luke Shaw finally getting his fitness and his confidence back? Because he had an awful injury.
He did, and I think the only way you get better really is by playing. And he's been given minutes, he's been given an opportunity, and he's taken it. So, there was talks with Rio Ferdinand last night about Luke Shaw for England at the Euros. Well, the way that he's going, you wouldn't deny him that chance because he is getting the best out of him. Luke Shaw is playing really well at the moment. He's great going forward. He's given that opportunity, the option on the left-hand side. I think there's still work to be done. I don't think we're getting the best out of him. I don't think we're getting 100% out of him just yet. I think there's still a bit more that he could give, but he's having minutes, and like I said, the best way you can improve is by playing.
Yeah, it's true because he's building confidence, isn't it? He's getting the run of games, getting his fitness, getting his sharpness back because everyone's obviously been saying he's overweight and stuff like that. I do genuinely think he is just a stocky guy. I think that's just the way that he looks. I do think that, but he is definitely in form. He's a lot more positive going forwards, and I think that's something that we've lacked on that left-hand side. We always seem a bit restricted because we do the same thing. We'd go forward a few yards, pass backwards and sideways. That's all we would do. And I think Luke Shaw is starting to look a bit more positive, and it really is helping us out because it gives us an outlet then. Competition is getting the best out of Luke Shaw. I would agree with that. Competition is healthy. We've already mentioned this on one of our previous shows. When someone is on the bench and they're pushing for a place, they're knocking on the door, it makes players perform. I do think there is an element to that with Luke Shaw, definitely. City have a weak defence though, Meg, so is this. I agree, City's defence is not the best. But if they've got the majority of the ball, they'll obviously struggle to score. Sophie's going to predict a Maguire header again. I went for an Igalo header today. Matt says United to beat City 2-1. Igalo with the winner, similar to my prediction. Matt, I hope you're right. Maybe we should both put a bet on. Enjoy Mourinho expressions. Obviously, expressions is currently undergoing depression for the Jose Mourinho era. Well, what's your opinion on Spurs? Did you watch them the other day against Norwich? I mean, I do kind of feel for them. Obviously, the injuries that they've got. Harry Kane is a massive loss to them, of course, when Son's not playing as well. With the lack of signings that they've really made. Obviously, they've got Gedson Fernandes in, and they also got the Celso is now permanent, and obviously Bergdrin. But they haven't got a natural goal scorer, and I think that massively shows in Spurs. They look toothless, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's football, and as a Manchester United fan, you do quite like the fact that the competition has dropped off a little bit. So that's fair enough. But yeah, it was a mad game, wasn't it? Like, I think this is what I said about when you like Norwich on paper on the better 11. I'd say Spurs are, and yet they've come out on top. And it's the same, obviously, with Manchester United, Man City. I do believe Man City have probably got the better team, but it doesn't mean that they're going to come out on top. Spurs they should have brought somebody in January. Obviously, you can't predict injuries, you can't predict how your season's going to go. But yeah, they've dropped off massively at the moment. They're struggling. They're in a bit of a rut. I think if they were to get anything out of this season, they need to find a win, grind out a win, and build on that.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think Jose obviously needs some more signings. Harry Kane has been linked to United as well. I would love Harry Kane at United, but like any other story like that, I think you have to kind of just hold fire a little bit, because obviously if you link players to United, it sells, and we all know that. But of course, I would absolutely love Harry Kane at United, and I'm sure Meg, you would agree with me. He's a quality finisher. Injuries have letting him down this season, but no doubt in his ability in front of goal. So I would love him at Manchester United. Meg, would you take Harry Kane?
Yeah, I'd snap his hand off.
Yeah.
He's a proven finisher. He is absolutely class, world class, when he's not injured. But you can never have, what player's never gone through a whole season having not had an injury? Unfortunately, it's his time at the moment to be injured. He would be massively expensive. I can't imagine the price tag that would come along with him, but it depends obviously what price tag there is, but he's class. There is no denying it.
I agree. Quality, and I'd definitely take him. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Hairdryer Treatment. The Soph and Meg show obviously is back, and we will be more regular. We do apologise for last week, but we are back with a bang. Hoping for a positive result at the weekend, obviously against City. We've both gone for a positive prediction, so fingers crossed that we do end up with that positive. Thank you to the super chats as well. Really appreciate your support, guys. It means a lot. Good debate in the chat as well. Good healthy debate. That's what it's all about. None of this Lingard abuse. Criticism, yes. Abuse is not good. But yeah, thank you guys. Obviously, come on United at the weekend. As always, I hope you have a lovely weekend. Have a great evening, and thank you, Meg, for coming on.
Thank you, everyone, for all your comments and all your questions. Thank you for the super chats. You can find me and Soph on Twitter. You can ask us questions on there, or leave a comment back on this video. We do go back through it, but we'll be back next week, hopefully.
Yeah.
After a United derby win. Potentially me and Soph are both playing, so we might miss the start of the game, which is a bit of it's one of those, isn't it? But then we'll be back next week. Thank you again for everyone for being there. I'm just looking at some of the questions. I think Memphis will score loads of goals in this team. I think he's been and gone. Let's carry on.
Yeah, I think Memphis, I loved him. He's another one. I think he needed longer at United. Quality player. Injuries again have affected him this season. But yeah, there's no doubt in his ability, his attitude, and his work rate at times, which was obviously questioned. But yeah, I was sad to see him go. I actually love Memphis, the way they used to obviously wear his Beckham shirts and stuff as well. Because that is another one who loves Manchester United, and I'm sure he would literally love to come back. But just didn't seem to work out, and would I take him back now? Possibly not. I think Sancho would be my choice again right now. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hope you have a lovely weekend. Take care.